So I said to her, like, you have to be careful because, like, I'm a married man and we're live here on Sunday Fuel. Welcome to Sacred Prophet, me, and to whatever it is you call yourself, Bad Guru. Is that
I
it?
call myself a very kind brother who wants to make your show less boring.
There's no
Boring.
way it's boring, Peter. I've been calling for Bitcoin to get to 200K by this summer. So that's the opposite of boring.
And 100K by spring. And how much by
Whoa,
Friday?
whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't call for that on air, okay? I said that within our little private group there. And things I say there sometimes are not meant to be very specific. They're meant to rile up the ants nest, see what gets shaken out. You're super lag on that end. Why are you super laggy?
Am I laggy?
Am I super laggy to you? Are you seeing me
No.
real time?
Yes, I'm seeing you real time. Let me see. Let me close some stuff.
Let me see if it's laggy online.
I've been having issues with lag.
Not interested in your life story. No offense.
Mel says you're both fine to me. Well, that's kind of...
It's nice of her.
He's sitting right there. We're
Wow.
both equal and... All right. Well, I feel the exact same way, but I didn't think... Whatever. I didn't think we should...
That's my wife who says you're both fine to me. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with being fine. Fine for you, that's a slap in the face.
Speaking of a slap in the face, man, I wish I had more crypto. God,
Don't we all?
it.
Don't we all?
God damn it. We are hitting. Look, let's just jump right into it. Let me just show the chart here. People are clamoring. People are asking. All our viewers really want to know. And so we have here, actually, let me unclutter it because it might be a little bit too much for your feeble brain to understand. I don't know why I get mean to you while we're on the air.
On the air? Nice.
But
nice.
What?
That's what you think. It's constant.
Is it? I'm very nice to you.
Well, then I'm glad. I hope you're never mean to me. Are we going to hit 69 today? All-time high?
Well, look, so we're right at the edge of this order block zone. I don't know if it can be seen, but literally this...
What's the pull and push on that?
The what?
Buy and sell? You said this selling pressure, buying pressure. Is it
this selling pressure over here? So generally when you hit these areas, we get stuff like over here.
Wait, you're well above your wave lines. Isn't that going to crash right down? Isn't it overextended?
Well, that's what I want to take a look at. I mean, so if you take a look at this run here, I don't know if you remember, like previously, I was saying that this run that we're going into is very similar in liquidity to this run over here. To this one over here. And so if we're following that, we should be expecting, so we're past this point, something like a 20 to 30% correction would be totally well on the cards. And then quickly absorbed and back up. There was, I was taking a look at this and because it happened so quickly, I wouldn't be expecting a liquidity signal to show up because that might be like a week late. But generally speaking, what we'll see is, or what we should expect to see, is a wick down to one of basically the first level. And essentially the sign to get out would be that we would wick down, it would bounce back up to around like 10-15%. And like that would be the time to get out. That if the candle is going to close, once we've hit the lower end and move back up, same thing over here, we hit the lower end and move back up. That would be the sign to get out. Chances are we're going to get either this is going to be burst will show us a signal, or maybe tide will show us a signal, maybe even both, and that'll be saying, okay, we're gonna head back down to one of the lower rays in order to grab some orders and move back up. I mean, do you want to necessarily count on this? No. But if we do see that sort of pattern, like that's what I'd be looking for. Those are the only signs I can actually see.
Do you think that's what's going to happen now?
Well, there's no, the right now we are at like I said, we're at a selling zone, but because we're moving so quickly,
Yeah.
we're not even in the parabolic move yet. Like this move up to 69,000 is like this move up over here to whatever this high was, whatever this high over here. That's essentially where it's at. So, this is what I'm expecting. Basically doubling of the move that we've seen so far.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically doubling of this move.
Well,
So, and I say, I don't see why we're not even in the sharpness yet. Like we just started the sharpness. So if we count, let's say this area as the same as this area here, then I'm expecting a huge run up. And that's why this area over here that we're in is similar to over here. And that's like what is it, a 30% pullback, I think it is.
but the waves don't the currents don't reach the point like they do in the past.
What do you mean they don't reach the point?
Like those squiggly lines at the bottom.
Yeah.
Here they're hugging the graph. They're hugging the
You mean here?
yeah, it's hugging it, but not now. Right now it's like Homer Simpson.
No, they're
Wile E. Coyote.
there. It's just that it's moving so quickly. Let's see here.
Right, exactly. It's overextended.
It's not that well, not necessarily. Over
What
here
does
we're
mean
getting
not necessarily. What's the likelihood, bruh?
there's more money. So what happened here is that there's a bunch of money that was added into the system, right? A bunch of liquidity because of the lockdowns and COVID and all that. And so it's once this happened, then we had this pullback, but this pullback didn't remove all the liquidity that was there. In fact, there was this trillion still that were made over here that's still on the table that hasn't been reinvested yet because of this sort of like recessionary period that we had during late 2021 and 2022. So people pulled back; they hadn't invested it yet, but that those trillions are still there. And then now there's more trillions added in because of the the liquidity facility that the Fed created for the
Spit
when
it
the
out.
bank
Come on.
well when the bank in last March, I think it was Silicon Valley Bank, that's what it was, when they went sort of like there was a bank run. Sorry, let me just put this back here. Yeah, so when there was a bank run, they created a new facility. I think it's the BTFP, Bank Term Funding Program, and so that put a bunch of money in, shored up the system a lot. And then what happens is that when these assets go up in value, so the S&P went up, the Nasdaq went up, crypto went up, and all that sort of thing. These assets are worth more by the end of last year, and so that collateral now can be used to borrow more money to invest into the market, and that essentially becomes another form of money printing. And so we have the money that was still there from COVID. We have the Fed who secretly has come to the rescue with this like secret QE, the secret money printing, and then we have the assets that go up in value that itself can be used as collateral. So there's even more money now than there was before. And so I would expect this is why a bunch of people are calling like 100,000 on Bitcoin for this year, and I'm saying 200,000, like at least on Bitcoin by like this summer. I don't really see anything that can really stop that. There's no reason to pull back on the liquidity, and it takes time for this to run through. And so these cycles, these liquidity cycles, take about 2.5 years in order to finish off, and we're just a year and some months into it. So why shouldn't it go? Same thing with the S&P. We take a look at the S&P over here. Doing its Superman thing too. It just crossed the high, and people were expecting this big pullback when it got to the high.
I don't see what you're looking at.
Oh, sorry. So the S&P crossed the all-time high. and people were expecting this big pullback down, and it could have been possible, but nothing indicated that liquidity is being pulled. Well, there was a little bit of liquidity being pulled here in. If I zoom in, you'll see this red dot here. But that's a short-term dip, which corresponded to this guy over here, and it didn't accelerate to the downside. So if it did accelerate to the downside, then you would have this sort of like this gamma effect with options, with derivatives that might cause the price to fall rapidly, but it didn't, and so it moved back up, and then we had short-term bounce signal and liquidity, which then turned into a full-fledged one, and now we're off and running. We do have a signal over here of a pullback in liquidity, a short-term pullback in liquidity, so we'll see. We might get a little pullback. This when it happens in a bull market, like in a bear market, or not a bear market, but when liquidity is trending down, then we'll get these big moves down like this in the S&P. That's what these dip signals are showing. But when it's happening in a bull, let's go take a look at that. They're generally short-lived. So over here, just a minor pullback. Actually, over here and over here was pretty significant. Hey, so maybe the S&P we might get an actual significant pullback. Maybe something up to 10%. Yeah, that might be nice. Now, here's the thing, Peter. If we do get that pullback, okay? If we do get that pullback, there's no more pussyfooting around. We gotta go hard on Earth. We gotta push it real hard. We gotta jump into tech. We gotta jump into more crypto. Like, get all the dollars you can, because chances are, this will be a crash up the likes of which we've never seen. I think we could very well see vertical candles, just vertical, just like unbelievable. Like, what is going on? We're talking about where this looks like,
can't see it.
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about where we're not talking about parabolic moves anymore, and now it's just straight line up, straight line up, straight line up, straight line up, and people are going to be like, it's going to pull back, and people are going to be like, it's going to be like, no, and it's the population is going to be furious. Can you imagine if you're not in the stock market or crypto, and this happens, and people are becoming gangbusters wealthy, and now inflation's on everyone's mind, and they're going to be like, well, this is going to cause massive inflation, and yeah, GD right it is. It's going to cause all kinds of prices to go up, and it's not going to go down for quite a while. That sort of inflationary effect, because that's going to bleed into the actual general economy, and people are going to be furious, but it's no giving that money back. There's no giving that money back, Peter. And so it's either be part of the stock market and the crypto market, or see ya. Oh, Melissa wants to see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, let me show that. I guess I'll just leave the chart on. So it'll make this run up that we've had, basically this run up that we had in the lockdowns, seem like nothing, right? If you take a look at this is really just a V back up to where we were, right? So there was the uncertainty of the COVID crisis. It falls down, we came back up. That makes sense. They pumped a bunch of money in, fine. And this whole run up was a decelerating curve, right? This whole curve up was slowing, and then it came back down to near its previous high. It corrected a bit, and now we're off to running, basically, essentially like how we would have been before, even a little bit below trend. But when this guy starts to pick up for reals, I think we're going to start seeing this. We're going to see price dislocation, because unlike what we had before, passive investment vehicles, derivatives, vanilla and charm flows, these are all things that exacerbate price one way or another. And it's going to be one of those things that if the prices are going to go down, it's going to go down sharp and quick and hard and long. And if it's going to go up, it'll do the same thing the other way around. And can you imagine if the S&P in a week goes up by 30%? I mean, everyone's going to have to get in. Like, all the active managers, everyone on the sidelines, is not going to be any more like wondering. People are going to be like, forget this. It'll be GameStop all over again, but for the entire S&P.
This is crazy what you're describing, Tom. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think even more brutal will be the crypto one. because it responds directly to liquidity.
So
And
Nvidia is going to be worth a quintillion. Is that it?
well, okay, so I should make
Nvidia.
I should have that caveat here. What I'm talking about the S&P, I'm talking about the index itself.
Right.
So basically, what we're seeing
But I'm
over
just saying, if
here,
more money goes in, it's also going to go into Nvidia, no?
it'll go into whatever is part of the indexes. So Nvidia is part of the S&P 500, and so yes, it'll go into Nvidia as well. But anything that's not part of the indexes, those guys might not go up as much. Some might fall. You might have 90% of the stock market falling to new lows, and the S&P index and the Nasdaq index going up to just massive skyrocketing highs. I wonder what's going on with ARK.
Remember what with ARK? Yeah.
But yeah, that guy's gonna. Yeah, we're gonna see all-time highs on ARK by. I'm gonna go by the end of this year.
Remember when crypto took its downturn and just kept falling and falling and falling, and
Yep.
all of the conversation around it, and now look at where we are. So a lot of people, I've been thinking, a lot of people, millions of people, because this has happened before.
By the way, this is
So,
what the ARK chart's gonna look like too.
wow.
So you see this parabolic, you see this
So
like
Kathy Wood
price
is going to be
dislocation.
the queen again, because right
Well,
now she goes from queen to joke to queen.
right.
It's real funny.
Well, look, you see this move where it goes up, it ebbs and flows, and now it's just this price dislocation
Oh
straight
my
up.
god.
That's what I'm saying. This is a leading. We're seeing this as a leading. Here, it didn't even care about the
Oh, this
pullback.
Sailors company.
This is
MicroStrategy.
MicroStrategies.
That guy is going
So
to be so rich. It's unbelievable. 12 billion worth of Bitcoin. It's insane.
I think ARK is going to do the same thing too, as well as Tesla. That's what's going to make. I mean, don't short Tesla, man. I think this is going to go. This is even better setup than ARK. I think we're going to see.
They came out with a cheaper, better Model 3.
I've been waiting for that to get a Model 3 myself.
It's improved. Apparently, the people who have a Model 3, they drive the new Model 3 and they're like, this is a new car.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
And it's cheaper. Oh, right now it's cheaper. Yeah.
So this is what I'm looking at. Now it's about get as much cash as possible, put in these things, don't look back, because forget it. Not being in it, you're gonna want to jump off it. But the people jumping out of windows are the people who didn't buy the stock, not the people who bought it and it fell.
Oh my God, Tom, I know two people. Won't say who they are. One just sold like half their Bitcoin. The other one still has it. And today, the one who didn't sell didn't look at Bitcoin since it went down. They were just like, oh, whatever. Just didn't look at it. And now they're more than double than what they put in. And the person who sold, I mean, I haven't even had the conversation with them yet. They sold last month.
Oh man, brutal.
I said not to, but anyway,
well, that's what I'm looking at. Nothing. I mean, there's other stocks to pay attention to, but other than tech and crypto, like there's nothing.
well, there's the AI, right?
That's tech, right? The
Oh,
tech sector. So all the things are gonna skyrocket. Not because of Peter. People have to forget about the value of a stock, or I mean, for stocks that are not in tech, or yes, you have to pay attention to free cash flow and to see what's going on, because those stocks are not going to be able to get as much money, as much funding. But tech and crypto, unless if my signal says something different, I'll say something different. But for the moment, all signs point to the pain trade is going to be not being in it. I don't mean like, oh, I missed out on 10x. I'm talking about people are going to be like, my life is ruined, and there's just no way for me to get ahead. Like there won't be any way.
Well, you can just earn money in other ways.
Sure, but look how difficult it was for people.
Like if people have more cash, then they'll be buying more things, spending more money. Like
yeah, and the people who have the money, the prices of things will go up, and even if Bitcoin today fell 30%, that's still not going to help the people who didn't get in at 20, right? It just And so if it goes up to 100,000, what pullback could there possibly be in any of these things that'll make it worthwhile for people?
That's what I wanted to talk about. So these pullbacks have happened before in the history of Bitcoin, right? Drop 80%, drop 80%. Now this is, and there have been people who've been through them, 2, 3, 4 times, or 3 times. And now here we are, and millions of people have now experienced what it's like for it to go down and pull back up. So now it's going to be, so there's a lot of fear and people dropping like flies. But now people are going to be like, I'm never going to sell.
And that'll cause the price to go up even further.
Yeah. And then any pullback, they'll be like, no, I've been through this before.
That's right.
I'm not going to sell, or at least not going to sell everything. Tom, we did our first Bitcoin video at 9,000.
Yep.
The Bitcoin bet.
God, I wish I had as much as I had back then.
Whatever. You'd be a different person with different problems. Blind spots galore.
I'd be like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do with my $100 million?
The only way to get $100 million with what you were doing was for the world to burn.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But it wouldn't. Can't bet on the world burning. Like you say, you've learned you can bet against
the world is long. The world is long.
Yeah, and you would have lost it no matter what.
That's true.
Some other thing would have taken you, and then you would have been overextended, and it was just the best case scenario for you. There's so many other timelines where winning would have been losing.
Yeah, I did roll a 4 on the dice. I'm not in the darkest one. But that's fine. I wouldn't have had this tool. That's what I like so much about it.
That's right.
I just read a weather forecaster, and it was, I would never have any impetus to create it.
Yeah,
I've just been completely blind.
Absolutely.
And, I like the idea of. It's sort of hard, Peter. It's like you create a tool that can tell the future, and then you want to sell that tool to people, but then they don't want to buy it until they know it can tell the future. By the time it tells the future, the move has already happened.
Right.
And so you're like, okay, so now do you want to buy this lottery ticket from yesterday? They go, no.
Well, you've been telling us that this was going to happen. I mean, I don't even know how long. You've told me what liquidity has been pulled. Liquidity will come back in, and this thing is going to go up to beat all-time highs and go crazy. And it took a while, but here we are.
I love the conversation I had with a friend of mine. It's this same friend I love talking about. And now I guess he's starting to listen or he's starting to listen because I think the price goes up too quickly for him to be able to sell out.
Oh,
like the time it takes.
He can't.
He's not like quickly, he could press a button and it's gone. And so by the time he thinks to deal with it, it's up again. And he goes, well, maybe I'll just procrastinate a little bit longer. And then it keeps going. And so I find that really, really funny. He's like, oh, maybe I should just sell half. Okay. All right. If that's what you want to do. What are you buying? Are you buying the liquidity cycle, or what is it you're trying to do? And he goes, I don't understand any of that. I don't know what you're talking about, though. Should I buy or sell? Well, I can't tell anybody, yes, you should buy, yes, you should sell. I'm not making that mistake again. Buy it if you want to buy it, sell if you want to sell it. If you need the money, sell it. If you don't need the money, don't sell it. Oh, I don't need the money, but I really feel bad if it goes down. Well, if you feel bad if it goes down, then sell it. I'll feel worse if it goes up, then keep it. I don't know. I just don't see a conversation. I don't know what to tell you. Should I sell my number one Superman? If you need the cash for the number one Superman, if you don't care about having the number one Superman, then do that.
I just can't live in a world where I don't own Bitcoin and ADA. I just can't.
ADA is the only one I really care about. Bitcoin, I look at it and it
can only 10x, right?
Even if it's 100x, that means everything else 100x too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't feel like I'm missing out. And what I like about Cardano is it's not like going anywhere. For something that is so crapped on, it's still top 10.
It feels so much like Tesla.
Yeah. And I just want to be there the day you wake up and it went from $1 token to $100 token. Like, I think that could totally happen. And I don't mind waiting for that because, one, I like using the Cardano network. I like it cost me 15 cents to make a trade. And I like the staking. I like that. And so I just go, okay, that's the one I'm going to accumulate. When I have Bitcoin, I just feel like Like I said Bitcoin now, and I just like
It's like having gold.
it's worse because the gold. Like when I was buying gold, I was buying gold jewelry.
Right.
That's a good wear it, right? And so it's nice and pretty, and I have it. It's great. Like my gold ring, like I like it. And but ADA feels more like ADA feels like
Feels like buying apples.
it feels like being a nerd before the Big Bang Theory came out. Like the Big Bang Theory came out, and that's when like the nerd world opened up. And I remember being it feels like being a programmer when I was in high school. And people are like, "What are you doing? You're writing code on a piece of paper. You could put it in a computer." Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna learn how to do this. You're spending hours and hours learning this for what? What are you even doing? And I go, I just think maybe it might be useful skill to have. And then Peter, now I think to myself, okay, I'm not exactly where I want to be and all that sort of thing, but what I'm trying to wrap my head around is that I don't have to be anywhere at any time.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, I work remotely. I program what I want to program. I deal with the clients I want to deal with. If I don't want to deal with the client, I let them go. If I have to leave somewhere for 3 hours to go do something, I can. I set my meetings whenever I want to. I have clients all over the world, and I was just thinking to myself, okay, like, all right, this beats me traveling for an hour and a half through the snow to get to a
Yep.
office for 8 o'clock. Like, it
Yep.
really beats that. And my time is my own. I get to. Uh, I just think to myself, how fortunate I am. And when I think of Ada, I think to myself that way, that these are a bunch of nerds who are sitting around doing nerdy things, doing it the hard way. And the day it explodes, it's going to explode. Like Bitcoin proved itself, right? If you think of it, went from, from when it went from $1 to whatever it is, $70,000. Okay. And you think to yourself, what did it do? Like, what Bitcoin did, it's moving on liquidity because people are putting it in, and this intransigent minority who are not selling. So this is lockup of assets, and it provided a mechanism to transfer wealth back and forth across borders without with privacy and blah blah blah, and security and all that sort of thing. Great. Now imagine an asset that is just like that, but also you can develop apps on top of it. You can do micro lending between people. You can do staking. You can create additional tokens. You can create honor tokens, voting tokens, ID, all within the same network. And then you think to yourself, okay, so then what's that worth?
Right.
And then you go, okay, there's other systems that are doing the same thing. And you go, great, other systems are doing the same thing. How much? Where? Show me the ones where the problems with it is that they're not taking VC money. The problems with it is that the founder is too gung ho, too ideological, and is steadfast in his own paradigm. Show me the ones where the problem is that they have $1 billion or nearly $1 billion of value of to fund programs set up that's completely decentralized, but that can't be unlocked yet, but for the release of the governance system that's about to come out, or that has had a dozen funding programs where people could solicit money from the community in order to get like grants in order to create their project. Where it's the difficulty in programming the system is because they're so dedicated to security that it's harder for people to just like some 14-year-old kid to whip up something and to create something for people to buy or to use. Show me another coin that's the problems they're having, or anything like it. It can't go anywhere unless some regulation, but then everything else is going up anyway. It's not going anywhere. So then I go, well, if I'm going to bet on anything, that's what I'm going to bet on. I'm going to bet on the guy who is so obsessed about racing horses, he is going to breed his own horses and will only start selling the horses once he's 100 generations deep in the horses.
That's Cardano.
That's Cardano. I want the how in Lord of the Rings, Tolkien started writing Lord of the Rings for himself as a kid, developing new languages, developing new lands, developing new ideas, telling to his kids before he ever published Lord of the Rings. That's the one I want. That's what I want. And so I compare that to Bitcoin, and I go, it's just not exciting.
Do you think that crypto will eat AI's lunch
No, I
in
think.
terms of energy?
What do you mean?
I shared with you a tweet that I saw from Max Kaiser. He talked about, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I guess I get the sense that they're thinking that AI is a real big problem, an existential threat, but that crypto would save us from AI because it requires more energy, or the same amount of energy that AI does. So it'll starve AI from energy, limiting it.
We're on the verge of free energy. What is he talking about?
That's what I was thinking. But until then, could crypto? I feel like crypto and AI were made for each other,
Of course.
and that one without the other would create huge problems, but together would be two mitigating factor, two the
Well, it's like
complementary factors.
in the last Airbender. The water tribe is controlled by both the moon and spirit and the ocean spirit, and together they create this harmony and balance that allows these people to do what they need to do. And
Okay.
if you only have the moon, well, then you have a problem. Only the ocean have a problem. So the reason why the AI and the crypto are, they're so perfectly complementary, because you have this intelligence, but no way to you need a granular way to tag to value to every single piece of information. And then in crypto, you have this way of valuing, but no asset that it matters to have this type of granularity, right?
Right.
This fractionalization. There's like no reason for it. You go like, oh, we should price something in Bitcoin. Why? You want to price something? You want to buy something that's 0.00001 Bitcoin? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
And people go, oh, we're gonna have Sats, right?
Right.
And then you go, okay, and that worked when it was Bitcoin was $2,000. What happens now when it's 70,000? What happens when it's
It's
100?
still,
What's 100?
yeah.
It's the same problem. You just change the decimal point. But with the in the granular information space, to be able to tag um, a phrase that you said in a book that you wrote that's being used by the system, being able to have 0.0001 crypto associated with that thing matters, because then as it's used again and again, and it adds up to a number that makes sense on our level. So crypto sort of provides like the quantum layer level of the of currency of value, whereas you have the AI that allows this, it spreads out through models that make sense to a human being, and then even higher than that, in this abstract layer out into the world. So you couldn't have the monetization and the spread of it, because what's going to happen with AI, this is what I suspect, is that it'll become so effective that the dislocation that'll happen with people, like, it's going to be so effective, but it is so effective because of us. And it's going to be like, like our usage and our data and all that, because it's only the intelligence of AI is only relevant insofar as it relates to us, right? Remember
Well,
in the movie Her, when they
not
were
if it
talking about,
it creates like beings that can create themselves.
yeah, so that's what I mean. Like in the movie Her, it ends off and they're like, the AIs go off and they're doing something on their own, right? And so that happens. Well, then that's the end of AI as far as we're concerned,
Why?
right? Well, AI is only relevant insofar to us, insofar as it helps us
Unless they
solve
do things
problems.
in the physical world.
Yeah, but whatever it does in the physical world has to be relevant to us.
Or if as long as it uses resources, it'll be relevant to us.
Well, what do you mean that it uses resources that we would have used, but it's using resources for something we don't need, and now we need those resources?
Something that we need, but they're building robots, they're building ships, they're doing other things on their own.
Yeah, but they're doing those things. But are you saying they're building stuff and whatever that we then use?
No, I'm saying it's a
So
problem if they go off and do that stuff. You said that we're not involved, but there's no way for us to not be involved. We share a
wait,
planet.
why would we need to, even if they're doing those things, if it doesn't relate to us, what difference does it make?
Well, if they're using up resources that we would use.
But there's infinite resources.
Uh-huh. On which planet?
The universe.
Yeah, in the universe. But
Okay.
who's to say that they'll be judicious with like, okay, I'll leave you these resources and then I'll go do my own thing on
Well,
another planet.
they could just go. They can create the
Have you
systems that they
seen the
need to go get it.
Terminator? Have you seen
They could just
Terminator?
go get it. No. Terminator's all those dystopian stuff are based on a lack of resources, on scarcity. There's no
Yeah,
scarcity. There's no real scarcity.
there's no real scarcity.
No, the only scarcity we have is in our ability in order to gather things. A system that's intelligent enough in order to gather things won't have that scarcity. It could just go and get asteroids that or
Yeah,
get
but
whatever needs.
there are
Yeah.
bulldozers, and then there are um, laser microscopic laser beams. Like, who says that AI is not going to use the bulldozer approach? Like, you're saying you can find these efficient ways in order to get resources, but it might not care.
Okay, but
Like,
in
just
that sort
destroy the Empire State Building and get the
fine.
resources that we need.
In that sort of scenario, who cares? If it is out of control AI that's doing all that to destroy everything, fine, we're gonna die. Who cares? Heat death of the universe. We're talking about a scenario where I'm talking about a scenario where
You're pretty glib.
well, it's sort of like I just don't know how people talk. It's like you're gonna die. Even Ray Kurzweil, even if your pills work and you live forever, you're still gonna die.
Did you hear what Elon Musk said in a recent interview?
No.
In his most recent interview, at least that I saw, he's like, he's fighting AI, he's fighting AI. He can't win, depressed about it. Then he realized, well, if I'm gonna die, I'd rather die in the AI apocalypse. I want to see that end. Like, if this is the end, I'm kind of jazzed that I get to see it. So he's like, okay, then. Pep returned.
Yeah, it's sort of like there's no reason to we might as well deal with the scenario, the doomsday scenarios. Fine, let them be doomsday scenarios, and some other universe we don't have to deal with that. But if we're in the universe where we don't have to worry about the universe where the AI gets super intelligent and doing a bunch of stuff, and it's not bulldozing the Empire State Building, but it's doing things that doesn't relate to us. Who cares then? Then it's like AI. We no longer have the AI, right? The
Well,
AI only matters.
we'll just make a dumber AI. We'll be like, okay, that AI got away from us. Let's make a dumber AI.
Fine. So it'll be so then we can imagine where we have this level of intelligence for it that's like super from our perspective, but still relevant to us. Great. We got to where we needed to be in this conversation.
Do you think Christians will make a God AI, like an actual, like all the rules of God
No,
and God's priorities?
by definition, it'll be if they could do that, by definition, they'll not see it as a god.
Well, no, they won't see it as a God, but it'll implement their desires and they'll see it as an extension of God.
You think so? There's
Well,
no AI in the Bible, bruv.
I already created a God AI GPT. So,
Oh, okay. This is an ad for that? Is that why?
no, well, mine is not a Christian God, but I would create that. Just like I would create Gandalf GPT. Like, I want to speak to Gandalf and I want Gandalf to do Gandalf things.
It's Gandalf. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Whatever.
I mean, I don't understand what you're saying, but I feel like if we continue this conversation, you'll just keep talking.
All right, this is about Sunday Fuel. I get it. So basically, get in as much as possible within reason, or else you're jumping out of buildings. Is that it?
Yes, and if we do get a 30% pullback,
Buy
looking
more.
for, I mean, double fist it. Yeah, you're gonna want to. I don't see it. And if it falls to zero, then it falls to zero. It's like the AI going the super intelligent and destroying the Empire State Building. Then it goes to zero. Who cares?
I keep remember what you told me, and I tell other people this, especially during the crypto winter. There, the price went down, number go down, and based on what you said, I tell them like, "What did you think you bought? Like, did you think you bought like just a stock in a thing where you hope to get it, or did you buy like the future? So, what is it that you bought that the price is down? You have a piece of the future." and the price today is completely irrelevant. Do you think the future is going to be built on it? Then what you have is extremely valuable. It's like someone 1,000 years ago going, "It's just this stupid microchip. Can't even do anything with it." Where'd you get it? Oh, alien ship crash landed. Got this microchip, but it's like super amazing that you have a microchip. You just hold on to it, and it'll be good. So I was just over the moon happy at any crypto at all. That I was in even any position, both practically speaking and intellectually, to appreciate and get crypto. And now it's like I bought McDonald's stock in 1970.
Right.
It's like I have stock in my well, what's this thing? You have nothing. I have something. Anyway, so I'm happy about what's about to happen. Looking forward to this week. I guess we're going to hit all-time highs this week.
I mean, today.
What are we gonna do? What are we doing to celebrate? Are we doing anything to celebrate?
Oh no, I'm just gonna keep my head down to the grindstone and keep working. You know.
All right, all right. You got to buy yourself a computer or something.
We'll see. We'll see.
Very exciting. All right, it's good to
All
see
right.
you.
All right, later.
Take care.